everyone, welcome to Brickball. My name's Jack. Today we're doing a LEGO minifigure collection review. This is all of the classic figs from the Western theme that is Cowboys, Bandits, and Cavalry.
So there are 16 minifigs in this collection in total, though the unique prints I think only totals about 12 different figs. And I did call this every single Cowboy minifigure collection, but really this is all of the different types of settlers that we got from the Western theme. In fact, there's only 2 Cowboy minifigs in the entire theme in total, and they came out the same year just like pretty much the rest of these guys, give or take a couple, and that was back in 1996. This is the first Cowboy and the most common. He's simply referred to as Red Shirt Cowboy. And by most common, I really do mean that he came out in 4 different sets, which is the majority of the Pioneer sets that ever came out for the Western theme. So that would be Fort Legoredo, Sheriff's Lockup, Gold City Junction, and Showdown Canyon. And with this guy being the more common Cowboy figure, I think his print is also just a little bit more classic looking. The brown torso with the red shirt print in the front definitely drives home the look of that vest, and he's also a bit patriotic with the red, white, and blue sort of color combination going along the front. He's, I think, supposed to be a blonde figure because he's got the white hair printed on the front there, and because the minifigure skin is yellow, that was a way to try to make the character look blonde because it would contrast a little bit better. He sells for $5, which is a pretty common price for a lot of these Western figs, but the second Cowboy here, referred to as Cowboy Blue Shirt, is a bit more expensive, and that's because he only ever appeared in the Gold City Junction set. This one was a relatively pricey set also compared to some of the others, so his appearance is far fewer, and there's a lot less of these guys on the market. He is around $13 if you want to get him brand new, and who am I kidding, the look for this guy is also pretty darn classic. The one thing I don't understand about this minifigure is why did they not do the same idea of giving him a brown torso piece with some blue printing on the front to make it look like he's got a vest, just like the previous Cowboy. Instead, his torso is blue with a lot of brown printing, and that doesn't look as good, and from behind you would never guess that he's got a vest printed on the front. I suppose that's sort of a small qualm to make, even though the printing on the front is actually pretty good. I also like the printing for the face. You can see a lot of scruff and some ruffled hair, one heck of a mustache, and actually a pretty inquisitive look. Now, moving down the collection, I suppose the next closest we would have to a Cowboy is the Sheriff. He appeared in many of the same sets as the original Cowboy, but I think his most iconic set was the Sheriff's Showdown set, and in that one he came riding a black horse. The printing on the front shows his Sheriff badge, and if you look close it does actually say the words Sheriff, and you can also see detailing for a pocket watch, and this time around he does have a printed star that's on his hat. My personal favorite touch of detailing for the Sheriff is definitely the red bow tie though, and his commonality makes him about $5, even though he's one of my personal favorites. Now, just like Cowboy number 2, the Banker right here is another very elusive character. He only came out in the Gold City Junction set. So this print that you see on the front that shows the vest, along with the print that has those sort of special kinds of glasses and the funny little mustache, they can only be found from this one single instance of the Banker from this set. So he is $18, and that is the most expensive and rare version of any of the Pioneer figs from the Western theme. Good detailing though. You can see there's a gold rim around the glasses that he wears on his face, and even a little shine from his silky ribbon that goes around his collar. Just because the print is old doesn't mean that there isn't some great detailing, and I suppose it's only appropriate that the man holding the money in this theme is also worth the most for any of the figs. Now let's move into some of the unsavory characters. We've got a bunch of bandits, and according to Bricklink, they're all just assigned numbers, and that's how people identify between them. So this first one is Bandit number 1. He's dressed in all black. He came out in 3 other common sets that I've mentioned before, as well as the Bandits Secret Hideout set, and each one of these guys has their sort of own personality and background, and you can really tell that based on the detailing from the chest. So here he's wearing like a nice black coat, blue shirt with a small pistol that's actually in his coat pocket there under the belt, and he's also pretty scruffy looking. I would say he might have been a cowboy that eventually turned to a life of crime. He's slightly more expensive than the rest of the bandits, coming in at $6, and here is number 2 with gray pants and a red shirt. I really do like the suspender detailing, and he has the bullet belt so he can reload very quickly. He doesn't have nearly as much scruff on his face, but a horrible grimace behind the mask that shows some missing teeth. He's probably gotten into a lot of fights over the years, and I imagine he played plays a mean banjo. Like the rest of the bandits, he's $4. And moving on to bandit number 3, this is definitely our card cheater. Undoubtedly, he's the one sitting at the table with an extra ace of spades in his sleeve, so he rocks a rather flamboyant green jacket, with his vest having matching suits of the cards on the underside, which is nice. He's studded with a little bit of gold and even has a gold tooth. The top hat is a really nice touch. This guy has a lot of character. I love him a lot. And he came out in the sets Sheriff Showdown, Sheriff's Lockup, and Bandit Secret Hideout, so he's also pretty darn common. And now bandit number 4, he's the last guy. He's pretty close to bandit number 1, just that he has gray pants instead of black, and they also changed the color of his bandana to white. He technically was a 1997 release and came out in just the Bandits wheel gun set, sort of the modern day equivalent to a little polybag. So nothing really exclusive about the guy, just a different combination of pieces on him, and he sells for $4 like the other 3 guys. Now the last of the classic Pioneer figs that came from the Western theme were actually Cavalry. I figured it'd be appropriate to go up between the ranks, starting at the lowest. So this is the Cavalry Soldier Fig. He's a $5 fig, and technically this version of him without a bandana only appeared in the Fort Legoredo set, and you can see he's dressed in all blue. I like the suspenders with the little gold clips. There is a US on his belt buckle, and it looks like he's dressed very similar to how the Union soldiers dressed back in the day. This fig is $5, and also the Cavalry Soldier with bandana is actually sort of the more common version of this guy. All the difference is just that he has a bandana, and he came out in just about every set that had any type of Cavalry Soldier. So that is the Frontier Patrol, Fort Legoredo, Bandit Secret Hideout, and the Gold City Junction. Only difference is that he's got the white bandana, and he sells for the same price. Now here's where things change up a little bit. This is the Cavalry Lieutenant, and he's one of the most expensive figs in the collection because he came in only one set, and that is the covered wagon. The rarity of him is just the torso piece that has the special printing. Instead of suspenders, he's got the buttons that kind of go up one side, and his belt also has just a little bit of an extra pouch on his right hand side. The bearded detailing isn't quite as good as that of the redhead, and the Cavalry Lieutenant sells for $12. Now there's another version of the Lieutenant that came out in Fort Legoredo. He's got the same torso piece, but this time the cap has also been upgraded, so I feel like he's at a slightly higher sort of tier of rank. He was part of the Fort Legoredo set. He sells for $7, and then also a Lieutenant, same guy just about, he's got a white bandana, and he came riding a horse, at least in the Fort Legoredo set, and he also appeared in the Bandit Secret Hideout. He's actually $5, and once again, he's basically the same figure, just with a bandana. Now moving up to the very highest rank in the Cavalry, and actually the last of the classic Western figs, this is the Cavalry Colonel, and he appeared in a bunch of sets as well, coming from Fort Legoredo, Frontier Patrol, and even a couple of vintage minifig collection packs that came out years later. The marked differences of this guy are that he's got a double line of buttons that goes up the front. His collar is slightly different. He's also got a much better manicured sort of set of facial hair on his face, and there is also a print on his hat with the crossed swords. So that's quite a few printing differences, and also coming with the black pants, he just stands out a little bit better. He goes for around $6 or $7, and there is technically a few other Western settler figs. They don't really count, but I'm just gonna kind of throw them in there at the end. They all came out of historic or vintage minifigure sets. So this first one is the Gold Prospector. He's a $2 fig coming from the Fairy Tale and Historic minifigure set back in 2011, and he's as basic as it gets. Brown pants, black shirt, no detailing, came with a pickaxe, a little gold ore piece, red bandana, and a hat. Nothing special about the guy, but anyways, there he is. In the same set, there was a female Gold Prospector. There you can see something closer to like a corset print. Her face has a beauty mark and some crow's feet. She holds some dynamite, and once again, the prints on this figure aren't exclusive or anything. This is just sort of a little minifig pack, and it wasn't really part of the same theme. Then 2016 had a fantasy minifigure set. This is Gold Prospector number 2, and you can probably recognize that really common city print. Shows the simple plaid on the shirt, same old bandana piece, and also a fairly common minifigure face piece. These also $2. I don't really count these last 3 figs the same way I would actually count the classic Western figs, but I decided to include them sort of anyways because I had them. But guess what? That is it for this collection review video. I gotta say, going through the old theme and looking at a lot of these sets made me pretty darn nostalgic, and I really wouldn't mind a modern take on the reboot of the Old West. I think we could get some fun characters. I know that Lego made some awesome sort of details hidden away in these original sets, and I suppose on a long enough timeline, we'll eventually see something come back similar to the Old West.
All right, that's it for this episode, everyone. Thanks a lot for watching. Remember, if you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe. If you have an idea about the next minifigure collection video you want to see in the future, let me know in the comments section below, and we'll see you next time at Brickball.